Welcome back, gamers. It's me, Siobhan Elise, your favorite host, and you're here watching the #1 entrepreneurial mindset podcast, where we go beyond the practical steps of entrepreneurship and into the mindset of what it's really like to get in the game. And tonight, I am debuting a very special guest, Mr. Enny Olamide.
Enny Olamide.
Olamide. Oh, he got me, y'all. He got me.
You got it.
Oh, yes. Okay. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are most welcome. So, if you guys don't know who Enny is, he is the visionary behind some of the greatest content that we've seen on IG with some of our favorite celebrities like Cardi B. We have Portia Williams, Neo. Did I miss anybody?
Dwayne Wade.
Come on.
The Brats. Mookie Betts.
Yes.
Future.
Come on.
The list goes on.
So when you guys are like getting your little inspo reels together and stuff, he's probably the one behind the camera. He is literally giving us a vision for life. And I'm super excited to see what it's like behind the scenes. So, God, tell us about it. Details.
Life is good.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting blessed. God is good.
God is good.
Yes, we're getting booked and busy.
Come on now.
That's very important.
So we like to take it back to the beginning for those who want to be in your position.
Mm-hmm.
How did you start the company?
So, first of all, I moved to United States like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. I used to work with a marketing agency in Nigeria, different production company in the likes of Sound City, MTV Base Africa, IBST. Yeah, I used to work with the big name in Nigeria. So we do like reality shows, documentaries, and that's where, the passion started from. Although I have a degree in filmmaking, so yeah, when I moved to United States, I was just looking for where to channel the energy. Because I have documentary background, I was like, you know what will be good to have documentary and love story together. So that's how you see that most of my video always have story in it, just because of the documentary background that I have. So yes.
Wow, thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I was wondering, your content, like you say, has an element of storytelling to it, and that's what makes it really unique.
Yes.
And then it also has this very like moody feel to it, where it's like it's intense, it's beautiful, it's like enriching.
Yes.
So you're saying that because you had that background in film,
yes,
and you also had partnered with these major companies on the marketing side,
yes,
you were able to come to the States, just really take in all of this energy and say, you know what, I would like to take what I know, throw a little love in there, and there we go. We got Bricks Group.
Absolutely, that's how it happened.
That's dope. And so what inspired their name?
So Bricks Group actually, I think back in 2015, I didn't want to use my name to start a company, because for me, I see Bricks Group bigger than what right now. I want it to be like something like Apple, where you have like different franchise like all over the world and stuff like that. So I didn't want to incorporate my name, and I was asking God by that time, like, yo, God, just give me something. Yeah, give me something. Give me a name. And then He spoke to me about, also, this is how the vision came about. Like, it's like, how do you build a house? You use brick block to build a house. Telling a story, you have to shoot from this side, and you put it together to make it a one, brick by brick. So that's how the name came about. And then the group in it is, just because I see my company beyond just me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have franchise in Africa. I'm going to have franchise in Europe and all of that stuff. So that's where the group comes in. So, yes.
That's dope. So you're saying even from day one, you always saw this as a company rather than a business.
Absolutely.
Wow. And would you say like that marketing background gave you that perspective?
Honestly speaking, I would say I feel like I work in the industry for long time, and I just need God to speak to me in terms of like what I need to do. You know, because it's one thing to have skills, it's another thing for God to be involved in what you're doing.
Come on now.
You know, and that's what makes it different. You know, that's why, you know, I see it beyond just being a business and just being a personal business.
Yeah.
Other than like that.
Come on now, because the Lord has a way of just refining your desires and your plans and really like taking it to the next level. So I love that that's how you got to that point. So what would you say are some key differences between, well, I mean, I guess you couldn't say differences because it's a brand. Like, how would you say you move differently knowing that you have this end goal in mind of creating a bigger picture?
I think one of the things I will say is that, you know, consistency is one of the things that you know, is part of my culture, and then also having integrity in the, you know, in the game too. And then I would say, you know, like I said earlier, I see it beyond just doing what I love. For me, it's also about serving people. You know, it's also about serving people, and then just making sure, like, you know, through like telling story, I'm impacting people, you know. I'm sharing like their vision or redefining their visions and stuff. So
I love that. I mean, that's the same vision, you know, that I have for Game Changers right now, where it's not just about me. Like, I could have easily did a podcast where I just talk to you guys every week, but I said, you know, I want to give the people more than what I'm able to give. Like, I want to impact generations. So let me pull together anyone that I can so that each one can teach one.
Right.
And really like just shift the culture and how we speak about business with one another on this couch and in the real world. So like my goal with this is to create a new culture where it's like, if you are in a networking environment or if you are around your friends who are also entrepreneurs, conversations shouldn't be shallow.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't be awkward.
Yes.
Like I want everyone to feel comfortable being vulnerable about where they are, where they're going, and really be willing to help each other get there.
Absolutely. And I can say so far, like, I've been following the podcast, I think since like March. Is it?
Yeah.
And honestly, I've been getting some gems. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
God is good. Oh my God, I love moments like this. So, you work with a lot of big names.
Yes.
Does it ever, like, do you ever get nervous?
So starting out, I would say yes. Yeah. You know, starting out, just seeing some of the people that I look up to or that I see on TV.
Right.
Even before I moved to the States, it's like, yo,
right.
I'm in the room with Dwayne Wade. What the hell? Right. You know? But, you know, after some time, I just, you know, got comfortable with them and stuff like that, because I'm not going to lie, like, some of the celebrities, they're very spiritual too. You might just see them like, oh yeah, they're basic and stuff like that. They can also see if you're nervous. I remember one time I was it a Thanksgiving? I was at Dwayne Wade's house, and then, you know, they were just vibing and stuff like that, and I just sat in the corner, and I was just nervous. Yeah. And he looked up to me, he was like, Enny, chill, relax. And I'm like, whoa, how do you know that? You get what I mean? And after he said that, I'm just like, you know what? Yeah. This guy can actually see through me, because I'm just still like in the bubble of like, wow. Right. This is me in this room, you know? Yeah. God is good, you know? God is good. And then I guess he noticed that he was just like, yo, Enny, chill. And I'm like, okay, all right. Let me chill now. I'm right. I'm here, right? I'm here now, right? I'm supposed to be here. Yeah, so, you know, and God has been great. I'm not going to lie. You know, I've been in different rooms, and I just still question what I do and how I got there and stuff like that. And for me, that's why I know that, you know, sometimes it's not just about what you know. You know, it's about God being involved in what you're doing. God blessing your hands. I'm not going to tell you like I'm that most perfect or best cinematographer. You know, one of the things that is unique about what I do or my business is because I feel like God is involved in it. Yes. You know, so. Wow. Yes. And, you know, God will use a gift, and, you know, he's a multiplier. Absolutely. You know, and so when you think about just having pure intentions and pure heart,
and giving it to God, like it will take you literally to the mountaintops. And sometimes it is shocking when you get there. It's like, whoa, like I wasn't expecting it.
Yes.
But it was incredible that, Dwayne Wade had that moment, that human to human moment with you where it's like, bro, you're supposed to be here. You're here.
Right.
Like they're just like us.
Right.
And it's beautiful that you get to see that and you get to share that to other people, who may still be in that phase where it's like, how do I act? Be yourself.
Yes.
Be who God created you to be.
Absolutely.
Amen. I ain't gonna take you out of church too much today. So can you tell us about like a pivotal, I call them a game-changing moment in your career where you really just like took it to the next level?
Honestly, I've always, had this vision, since I was young that, whatever I put my mind into, you just have to be the best. Even while I was in Nigeria, like me and my boss, we're like the best.
Yeah?
Yes, we're like cool. Every now and then he would still call me and be like, Enny, you still have your job in Nigeria. You can come back. And I'll be like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
I'm trying to do my own thing
we
now.
Getting it over here.
Bricktown. So when I transitioned from Nigeria to United States and I found my niche, and funny enough, the first wedding I shot was my best friend's wedding, with one of the camera that I brought from Nigeria, because I had a 60D back then. Like, I'm like, yo, this camera is going to be with me just in case things go left.
Right.
I can always go out on the street. I'm like, yo, you need photo shoot? I got you. You need video shoot?
Yeah.
I got you. And funny enough, I didn't just like transition. Like it took a lot. I did a lot of like club pictures, like I did a lot of stuff that that actually led me to. But one thing I add on to was my faith in God, that He might be like this now, but I know I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
And then I would say like God would not come down and just hand things to you. He's gonna use like people to help you. And I feel like the game changer moment was the people that God placed in my life at that moment that actually took my hand and be like, yo, I'm going to take you in this room. It's the list is long. I can't even mention name, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm so happy that I have like people in my life that like, I believe in what you do. I got you. I'm going to take you here. I remember one of my friends. So there was a time, I was struggling back then. I did car wash. I work at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Bruh, let me tell you, I have story for days.
You gotta do it, man.
I have story for days. It was like, yo, Enny, I know this guy. He does wedding and he's always looking for editors. Like, yo, I need you to like show what you can do. And then the guy gave me an opportunity. He gave me one wedding to edit, and it blew his mind. He was like, yo, I'm going to hire you today. Come to my office. Yeah. And after that, I worked with him for a little bit, but I just knew that my calling is bigger than just working for people.
Right.
I needed to start my thing, and and I would say this: starting your own business is not for everybody, because as good as it look online, it's not easy. You can say, oh, everybody's being an entrepreneur. Oh, let me do it.
Talk about it.
I work 24 hours. Sometimes 3 days no sleep, logistics, and even though you have staff, you have people, but just because that thing is your baby, you're always like trying to protect it and making sure, because that's the only option you have.
Right.
At least for me.
Right. No, that's a real thing. It's like when you don't have a plan B, like you have to your whole life.
Exactly. So I would say ultimately the game changer for me was the people that God placed in my hand, in my life, that actually took me into the room that my certificate couldn't get in, or even my skills couldn't get in. And then I just went into the room. It's favor, grace, and then just show it, and God just like, what? I'm gonna put a blessing on this, and then everything changed from there.
Oh wow. And I think that the saying goes that God will use people to bless you.
Absolutely.
The enemy uses people
as well.
Two. We're not going to talk about that, but just know there's two sides to that. But I know that there's a lot of creators that may be where you were back then, and they still hustling. You know, they still got to pay the bills, and they're still staying up to 3, 4, 5 a.m. just to work on their edits. And it can be brutal. It can be discouraging. And, you know, sometimes when we get these opportunities to collab or introduce to certain people, it's easy to not see it for what it is. But what you're saying is, in those moments, God really used those people to open doors for you. So if you're someone that's still in the grit, do not despise small beginnings.
Absolutely.
You know, and never sleep on your craft. Because if you stay consistent and you keep God first, it will get you well beyond where you ever imagine going. Gems.
For real.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about, you know, working 24 hours, and I can attest to that. Like, being an entrepreneur, it comes with like freedom, but it's like not free for real. You know, where it's like, yes, you have flexibility, but it's not necessarily free time, because there's always something to do, or there's always just, it's on your mind, right? And that reminded me of something I heard on EYL the other day. And they said that when you're an entrepreneur, there is no work-life balance.
Absolutely.
You agree with that?
You know, I would say for the first couple of years, you know, I think it has to do with, you know, managing your time very well. But the first couple of years, I was struggling with that. Like, there's no work balance. I'm just working. But, you know, after sometimes, you know, I was able to hire like a business coach, and, you know, they helped me like, okay, this is how you balance this. This is how you do this. Because, you know, sometimes we just think it's about opening a business, but there are people who have experience in teaching you how to actually run your business as well. So I always encourage people, like, when you open business, you have to get a business coach. You have to get a therapy. You have to get a CPA. You have to get like all those people, because at the end of the day, if you don't have all those people helping your business, you're just going to be making the money and you wouldn't even like be able to account for it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it goes in and out.
Yeah, so they help you, you know, balance those, you know, life. You know, sometimes, let me give you an example. If a client say, oh, you know what, like I was just in Italy for an engagement shoot like a couple of weeks ago. I literally spent 2 days in Italy like to shoot an engagement shoot, you know. So sometimes if I'm there, if it was well planned, if it wasn't like impromptu, when I go to those type of places, I take at least 2 days off for myself, and then, you know what, free tickets, free hotel, I might as well do some work balance movement here and enjoy the beautiful things of life and stuff like that, you know. So those are the things that, you know, after a couple of years in the business, I learned, you know, during the process. So
I agree. Yeah, I was like, I don't know EYL. I don't know if I agree with that statement, because I think that, like you said, in the beginning, when you're like a baby, you're learning how to walk. But, you know, it's like a muscle. The more you practice, the more coaching you get, the more experience you get, the better you get at it. And I believe that, especially when you cultivate a circle that is clear on your role and what you do, it's a little bit easier to navigate it. It may not be the traditional lifestyle, but I think once everyone is on board and time management comes into play, and you know what your needs are, it's definitely attainable.
Yeah, and then also, you know, having help, you know, because I remember when I first started, like I was doing everything myself. I was sending the invoice myself, and I was literally, I would take the phone call, I would go out to shoot, I would edit, like I was burned out. You know, but after some times, you know, after like hiring like coaches and stuff like that, and they introduced me to, you know, some CRM, you know, platforms, and then saying like, oh, you know, you can actually hire someone virtually, or you can even get somebody, you can get intern. Then after having those help, and I'm like, oh, is this easy? Wow.
This is a company now. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of us, we think like, oh, we call our business small business. No. It's a business.
Big business.
You got to run it like it's big deal. And I feel like that's one of the things that actually helped me too, because I remember I was talking to one of my clients. She's from Nigeria. She's a wedding planner. And she's like, oh, Enny, you don't even act like Nigeria. And I'm like, wait, what does that even mean? Oh, you have too many process. It's a business. I have to have a process, you know? So, yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And especially since like you're in a creative space, because sometimes it's difficult for people to wear both hats.
Right, right.
Or hire out or whatever. But you seem like you have a really solid hold on like, this is my company first.
Yeah. And I feel like some of the help that I got from like the previous places that I worked has also, you know, helped me, shaped me into, you know, like I mentioned a guy, his name is Remy Ogunpiton. He owns one of the most biggest marketing agency in Nigeria, and I used to work with him. I worked with him for like 5 years. So that's the one that I say we're like this. So, you know, having to be around him made me learn a lot, you know, about not just what I do, and I'm that type of person. I'm not just learning like how to edit if I'm with you. I'm learning like, how do you speak to people? Right. You know, how do you approach, you know, situation when something goes wrong? How do you deal with it? And you know, that's helped me where I am right now. And that's why I always tell people. Sometimes people feel like it's about, oh yeah, let me open a business and I'm gonna be big. No, you have to actually learn and go through the process, because that's how you have a story to tell. If you don't go through that mode, you don't have no story. Right. You know, you don't have a solid foundation. You're not grounded, you know, when it comes to like handling business, you know. So
exactly. That's so true. I remember I was in college for business at FAMU. That's actually where I met Lami.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
We went to college together.
Okay.
And I remember sitting in class like, this is dumb. No, I love FAMU is an amazing school. Right. But like, this is what I was thinking. I'm like, this is maybe teaching me how to be a manager. Right. You know, and I think it may be a little dated. But this is not teaching me how to run a business, you know? So eventually I dropped out, not recommending you guys do that or anything. This is just my story. And I was like, you know, I want to learn how to run a business. And I wasn't sure what that was. But I ended up working at like restaurants that were like not franchises, but just small like family-owned restaurants. Okay. And I think I even did like a hotel. But I worked with the owners in all of those jobs. I made it a point. And I learned so much from how they hired to what, you know, their investment structure looked like, to how maintenance, like everything. I really made it a point to pay attention to the whole ecosystem around me. It wasn't just about the paycheck. It wasn't just about the job. It was about the game. It was about the game. And, you know, whenever you go through life and you're looking for an opportunity, you're more likely to find it. Yeah.
And they always say this, like, experience is the best teacher. You have to go through stuff for you to be able to learn, you know. Absolutely. Be business, relationship, whatever.
Yeah. Because it's like, you can read a whole book on this.
Honestly.
And know everything. Right. But when it really start hitting,
it's a different ballgame.
It's like we have other emotions other than our mind. Right. It's not just about what we know. Right. But I think that experience really helps us go through all of those emotions and learn how to navigate them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gems.
Oh my God. I'm so enjoying talking about you. I mean, I wasn't going to ask, but I have to ask because like, you make some incredible like wedding content and you know, you really captured these beautiful moments. And like, we're excited to see like, where do you stand on having those special moments for yourself?
Great question. I'm surprised you asked that. Oh. So honestly speaking, off camera maybe. Okay. You know, I was married. I was married for 2 years. Got divorced. Okay. So after that, you know, I was actually excited about like being married. Yeah. And I didn't know what I was doing, and just ran into it, and then I ran out. Yeah, it happened. So after that, you know, I was like, I think I have an idea of what I really want now, the type of partner that I want. Not saying that my ex-wife, but great mom, good person, good heart, you know, but there's just some goals that just doesn't align. And for me, having to work in wedding, having to listen to a lot of people's story, you have to be happy. Yes. If you're not, don't do it.
Yes.
Don't follow social media or don't get married just because the pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to be happy. You both have to love each other. You have to be best friends. There has to be like some type of chemistry that makes you feel like, because also God needs to be in the marriage too.
Yes.
That has to be the foundation, because if you're married and you don't have a solid foundation, it's easier to just So for me right now, taking my time.
Good.
Taking my time.
Great answer. You handled that like a G. I like that.
Yeah, I'm taking my time for right now. I have a vision. My wedding is gonna be dope.
I know it's gonna be dope. Who's gonna shoot it though?
Apparently, I do have like a couple of people in mind. Hopefully, they are in business by the time I get married. That's what we need to first talk about.
Right.
I have a couple of people in mind. So they're really dope. I have an idea.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a destination for sure.
Okay.
And then I'm actually probably gonna have like a big Nigerian wedding, maybe in Nigeria. Let's
on
go
now.
Bring those 3,000 people.
Yes.
There's something that we call agbada. That's the attire, the big attire that the man wears.
Yes.
Listen, you don't want to know the design yet. Don't worry.
Well, we can't wait to see.
Suspense, all right? On the next episode, you'll see this one.
Next episode. Oh my God. Anyway, I had a great time with you today.
Thank you.
Before we go, I do always like to ask, what are 3 game-changing gems you'd like to leave with our listeners?
One thing I want to say, stay consistent. That's the ultimate. Take risk, but a calculated risk, because sometimes you just don't want to take risks. It has to be calculated. You have to, strategically take a risk. That's very big. And then I would say my last thing is have faith in God. Whatever you believe in, whatever you believe in, just have faith in that thing. Because when you have double mind, that's when things get messed up. Just have a laser focus, believe in God, and then sky is the starting point.
Changing the game. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, how can we connect with you?
Well, you can connect with me through my website, www.bricksgroupmedia.com. You can follow us on IG at Bricks Group. And then you can follow my personal page too, the Olamide Films. I actually just rebranded that. So I'm, in the process of opening another marketing agency for my, for my other brand. So yeah, you can connect with me on that. And then you see me on the street, say what's up.
Say what's up. All right, gamers. Well, thank you guys again for joining. I hope y'all been writing down all these game-changing gems. Like, this was really dope. And thank you guys again for being a part of our gaming community. Keep coming back. Special thanks, of course, to our sponsors at Boss Nation Network. Like, we're just bossing up every chance we get, and I love that for us. Until next week, bye.
And then